Do you have night terrors? Do you have these terrible times where you cannot move in your bed? You're paralysed. Something is coming and you cannot physically move. Let me tell you my stories and what I found out. If you're interested in this, carry on watching. Hi guys, this is a personal story of mine, but I thought I would share it with you for those of you out there that may be going through the same thing. Many years ago, it started with not feeling myself. During the day, I started to get nervous, irrational thinking about going to bed at night. Now, there was no reason for it, absolutely no reason. I was doing a lot of studying at the time in a group, and there was a particular person in this group that had it in for me, did not like me, was quite offensive to me. And this person actually managed to get me gone from the group by writing a letter saying that I'd done certain things which I hadn't, and I was banned from the place and I hadn't done anything. So this was playing on my mind. I knew who had done it, and I knew that they had it in for me, and they were quite proficient in the magical aspect and was prepared to do anything that they wanted. Even though they'd got their way, I think I was fearful that they were going to keep on at me. So I started to feel very nervous about going to bed at night. And at that time, my husband worked nights, so I was alone in the house, apart from my beautiful fur baby at the time, who was Jack, the lurcher, or the Saluki lurcher. Now, he was a bit of a baby, bless him. If anything happened, if there was a noise, he'd hide behind me. So he wasn't like a very good guard dog or anything. We used to go to bed together at night, and I would shut my bedroom door, and I had a little lock on it because of fear of somebody human getting in, you know, burglars and things. We had a lot of burglaries around at that time. So there was that nervousness also. So the very first time it happened, I took a lovely hot chocolate to bed with me, and I was watching something on the telly, and I dropped off to sleep. And I could hear the telly in the background. Everything seemed very normal. And then I got this feeling on me that I wasn't alone. And I tried to move, and I couldn't. I could not physically move. The only thing I could move was my eyes, and I was stuck in a position, and I was facing away from my bedroom door. I remember thinking, I can't move, but the door's locked, I'm okay. I started to hear somebody walking up the stairs, very slowly but heavily. I was absolutely petrified, but I couldn't move. I couldn't speak, I couldn't do anything. And it's getting closer and closer. And it got to the bedroom door, and I could hear it breathing. It was like a like that. And I'm laying in the bed thinking, oh my God, help me, help me. But I couldn't speak, I couldn't yell, I couldn't move. The door creaked open, and I'd locked it, so you can imagine the fear that was building up within me. I didn't know, I couldn't see what it was, but I could hear it. And it came in the room, but not slowly like it had done up the stairs. It was almost like a boom, 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 boom. And it was in front of the bed. And out of the corner of my eye, I could see a dark shape. Very tall, very black. It was like a deep shadow. but with a long arm, with long fingers, with claws on. I still couldn't move, and I am petrified, and I am trying my hardest to wake up, to move, because I thought I was dreaming. But then I knew I wasn't, because Jack was there looking at me and blinking, like he also couldn't move, and he looked petrified. I'm trying to make noise and he's trying to do something, and we couldn't. And this thing then sat on the bed right next to me, and there was a foul odour, something I'd never smelt in my life. And I'm thinking, I'm going to die. We are going to die. What is this? The next thing I know, I felt pressure on my body, and this thing was just looking at me in my face, and all I could see was like a black mush and eyes, red eyes, and a noise escaping from it, and this claw, and it went into me. I feel it inside my body, playing with my heart. You must realise, guys, how terrifying this is. And then gradually I start to come round, and this thing goes backwards, like I'm waking up, I'm coming out of it, or whatever was happening. And it's come back, and it's moving back. Every time I get a bit of my body back, it moves back. And so I get it in my breath, and I go, get out, like leave this room. And it goes, and everything is quiet. Telly's back on, Jack's there, and he's okay. But you can understand that it terrified me. And this started to happen every night, and it went on for about 3 months. I ended up going to the doctor through sleep deprivation. I was sitting up all night drinking coffee, but eventually I used to drop off to sleep, and the same thing would happen. It never changed. It was the same thing over and over and over, but it was absolutely destroying me. So I looked all this up, because the doctor said it's called night terrors, and lots of people get it, and it's nothing. It's just a really bad nightmare while your body is awake, rather than, you know, in REM sleep. So you are sort of hallucinating at the same time as not being able to move, because when we go to sleep, our body makes chemicals that keeps us still, so that we don't do silly things to hurt ourselves when we are asleep. And he said, and what happens is the mind wakes up, and the body is still got the chemicals stopping you moving. So okay, I understand what you're trying to say, but that's not what I'm experiencing. Now, I believed him to start with, and he gave me some sleeping tablets. Can you believe that? I said, well, if I take these sleeping tablets, am I going to still get this? And he said, no, you shouldn't, because the sleeping tablets will knock you out, and you'll go into a different type of sleep. So you shouldn't dream when you're having those sort of tablets. So first couple of nights I took the tablets, and yeah, I slept okay and nothing happened. But then on the third night, it was awful. It was worse. There was 2 of them, and one was attacking my Jack, and one was attacking me. Well, once I come around, that's it. I said, I'm not going back to sleep. I am not sleeping. I took tablets to stop myself from sleeping at night. So you can imagine how bad my health had got. So I did some research, because I began to think this was a spiritual thing. And once I started researching, these things were happening now. During the day, I'd be in the house doing something, and at the corner of my eye I would see it. I would hear it as I was downstairs. I'd hear it walking down the stairs. And I knew I had to put a stop to this, because either I was going mad, or I was dropping off to sleep during the day, or the doctor was wrong, and this was a spiritual takeover, that I was being attacked physically by something that was being sent to hurt me, and the name kept coming into my mind of who it was that was doing it. So I set about going out, and the one thing that helped me, guys, and it did help, I bought lots of, you know, the little necklaces that you can buy made with like string and then like little iron thing, like a pendant on each one. They're not very expensive. In fact, you can go to an ironmonger's and you can get lots of little bits of iron very cheaply, and you can put them around the house, but you need to wear one as well. You need to put them around your bed, under your pillow, on the doorways and the window frames, anywhere that you think or feel that this thing's getting in. And I did that. I also did a pillow with herbs in that were protection. I also did a Thor's hammer, and I put that around the room, like different little ones, and that gave me a sense of feeling protected. I still heard it downstairs walking around making noises, but it couldn't get in because of what I'd done. The next thing I needed to do was to find a spell that I could send it back to the sender, because that is the only way you're going to get relief. It has to be severed at where it's coming from. And so I did a candle spell, which I will probably put on here, or you may have heard of it anyway. But it's 2 candles, one's black, one's white. The black one is the negativity of the energy that's trying to attack you. So you put them close together and you light them every day for an hour in the evening, because that will be the time you'll be getting ready to sleep. So you light this candle, and every day you light it for an hour, and then you pull it away. So you pull the black one away from the white one, and then this goes on for 7 days. So you need quite long candles, and each day you move it, and you move it, and you move it. And then when you get to the 7th day, you take you away, and instead you put a red one. Now you can make that the person that you think it's coming from. So you can put parts of that person. So if you've got maybe something that belonged to them, or just a picture of their face, anything that's going to make your intent about that person. I also put a mirror, a small mirror, so that this person could be seen in the mirror. The idea is to send it through a portal. So you're not just sending it to that candle, you've got the portal. And I put the picture on that glass. Once I put it on the mirror, it would bypass that candle and go through the mirror to the person that sent it. And the spell that I did on the time I got it near enough was to indicate not that person's name, but the sender, the one that had sent it in the first place, so that I didn't obviously do something awful to somebody that may not have had anything to do with it. I wanted it to go to the sender, and I mentioned the picture was of the person I believed it to be, but I wanted it to go to the actual sender. Now, if this hadn't have been put on me by someone, it wouldn't have left, because that's exactly what happened. This thing went on that last day when it was right next to the other candle. I felt the energy go. It went through that little mirror. So I took that little mirror and I painted it black, and I put a piece of iron on it. And I wrapped it up in a piece of paper and put it somewhere very safe. I put it in the back garden, in the earth. Couldn't come back through. So you see, I didn't have a problem after that. Sure, I still do my protections. I still have my bits of iron. It's never come back. And so I wanted to share that story with you guys, because if any of you out there are going through something similar, there could be a spiritual aspect to it, and you need to get to the bottom of it. Do not be swayed by doctors who think they know it all and don't. Now, making a spell for this doesn't have to be intricate. The way I did it was because that's the way I felt to do it. And we can be guided by how we feel inside, what we believe it is. There are different types of spirit that come. And so it is something that affects quite a few people. And I thought it'd be good really just to share my story today and let you know that there are these things going on, that you can deal with it with certain aspects. Invoking protection, asking your gods and goddesses for what they think you can do, and iron around the house, especially if you can get horseshoes. Put them around the street door, the doors, salt and pepper. I hope this has helped some of you out there. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. If you haven't subscribed to my videos, please consider doing so, as this does help the channel and helps to get to the people that need to find what they're looking for. So I'm going to leave it wherever you are, whatever time of day, night or evening it may be. I wish you the best ever. House of Lang.